It's a deeply concerning shift. Colon cancer, a disease once primarily associated with older age, is now striking individuals in their 20s and 30s with increasing frequency. This isn't just a minor uptick, it's a dramatic surge in diagnoses among young adults, a phenomenon that was virtually unheard of just a few decades ago. When trying to grasp the reasons behind this alarming trend, our focus shouldn't be primarily on genetics. While genetic predispositions can play a role in a small percentage of cases, the overwhelming evidence points elsewhere. Instead, we need to take a hard look at what's on people's plates, specifically what foods are being consumed, and perhaps even more critically, what vital nutrients are conspicuously absent from their diets. Many people commonly believe that a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer signifies the absolute end, that it's a game over scenario. The conventional wisdom often dictates that once cancer has spread throughout the body, it's an irreversible death sentence, and that dietary choices have little to no tangible impact on the ultimate outcome of the disease. However, my nearly 15 years immersed in the fast-paced, high-stakes environment of emergency medicine, coupled with my extensive work alongside oncology patients, has allowed me to witness something truly extraordinary. It's a reality that directly contradicts much of what we've been traditionally taught in medical circles. I have seen with my own eyes that even advanced stage 4 colon cancer, a diagnosis that typically carries a grim prognosis, can, in certain remarkable cases, be reversed entirely, back to stage 0. This isn't achieved through some miraculous new drug alone, but by harnessing the incredible power of your body's own immune system. Furthermore, the very foods you choose to eat can wield immense power, capable of literally starving tumors by strategically cutting off their vital blood supply. Consider this astonishing fact. A cancer without access to a network of blood vessels cannot grow beyond the minuscule size of the tip of a ballpoint pen. It remains dormant, a harmless cluster of cells. Yet, provide that same microscopic tumor with a robust blood supply, and it can undergo an explosive transformation, expanding to a staggering 16,000 times its initial size in as little as 14 days. This illustrates the profound and immediate impact of vascular access on tumor growth. Hello, I'm Dr. Becker, and I am an emergency medicine physician. After years of bearing witness to a disheartening increase in colon cancer diagnoses among progressively younger patients, individuals who, by all accounts, should have many healthy decades stretching out ahead of them, I came to a deeply unsettling realization. The dramatic rise in colon cancer incidence among young adults isn't fundamentally a genetic issue. Instead, it's overwhelmingly an environmental one. It's intimately tied to what we are consuming on a daily basis, and equally important, what crucial elements we are systematically neglecting in our diets. In this video, I will not only illuminate this crisis, but also empower you by revealing the exact strategies to activate your body's innate, potent cancer-fighting defenses. You'll learn how to proactively prevent colon cancer and discover the groundbreaking approaches that allow patients with even advanced disease to achieve complete and life-changing remission. Throughout our discussion, we will meticulously explore the underlying reasons why colon cancer rates have surged so dramatically in younger populations. We'll delve into revolutionary immunotherapy treatments, which are quite literally transforming advanced stage 4 diagnoses into stage 0 outcomes for many. You'll understand how the intricate ecosystem of your gut bacteria plays a pivotal role in determining whether cancer treatments succeed or fail. We'll identify the specific, powerful foods that can actively starve tumors by strategically blocking the growth of new blood vessels. And perhaps most importantly, I will outline the precise, actionable dietary protocol that you can begin implementing today. A protocol proven to reduce your colon cancer risk by an impressive up to 40%. Just a quick favor before we dive deeper into this critical information. I often receive messages from individuals who have watched several of my videos only to discover later that they weren't actually subscribed to the channel. Could you take a moment right now to double check your subscription status? It costs nothing, takes literally 2 seconds of your time, and plays a vital role in helping this channel reach and inform more people just like you who are actively seeking real, science-based health information to take control of their well-being. Let me begin by sharing a fact that should genuinely alarm every single one of us. When I was attending medical school 2 decades ago, encountering a case of colon cancer in someone under the age of 50 was so extraordinarily rare that it would be considered unusual enough to be presented and discussed in detail at grand rounds. It was an anomaly, a perplexing exception. Today, however, I am regularly seeing patients in their 30s, their 20s, and shockingly, even teenagers being diagnosed with colorectal cancer. The incidence of this disease in people under 50 has skyrocketed, increasing by approximately 50% over the past 3 decades alone. This isn't a minor fluctuation, it's an undeniable, fundamental shift in our health landscape. Something profound has irrevocably changed in our environment, and the overwhelming body of evidence points directly and unequivocally to our dietary choices and lifestyle habits as the primary drivers of this crisis. It's crucial to understand that only a small minority of cancers, perhaps 10 to 15%, are primarily driven by inherited genetic mutations passed down through generations. The vast majority, the overwhelming 85 and 90%, are actually caused by environmental factors interacting with our unique biological makeup. So, what exactly has changed so dramatically in our environment that is manifesting as this surge in colon cancer? One of the most significant shifts is our diet. We are consuming more processed foods than at any other point in human history. We are regularly ingesting massive amounts of processed meats, items like hot dogs, deli meats, bacon, and sausage. These foods are not merely unhealthy, they are classified by the World Health Organization as Group 1 carcinogens. To put this into perspective, this places them in the same hazardous category as cigarettes. These foods don't just subtly nudge up your cancer risk, they significantly escalate it. Heavy consumption of processed meats is directly associated with an 18% increased risk of colorectal cancer for every 50 grams consumed daily. That's a shockingly small amount, roughly equivalent to just 2 thin slices of deli meat. Think for a moment about the journey of processed meat once it enters your body. It travels through your digestive system and then, critically, it parks in your colon for several hours before finally being eliminated. While it's residing there, various compounds inherent in the meat, such as nitrosamines, heterocyclic amines, and heme-iron, begin to actively create a highly inflammatory environment. This chronic inflammation directly damages the delicate cells lining your colon. Persistent, unchecked inflammation is a well-established foundation for cancer development. Your body's cells are constantly striving to repair this damage, but when that repair process becomes overwhelmed and can no longer keep pace with the assault, genetic mutations begin to accumulate, setting the stage for cancer. However, diet isn't the sole culprit in this troubling narrative. A sedentary lifestyle is another colossal risk factor that often goes underestimated. When you spend the majority of your day sitting with minimal movement, a cascade of detrimental effects occurs within your body. Your metabolism slows down considerably. Inflammation levels throughout your body begin to surge. The delicate balance of your gut bacteria becomes disrupted and unhealthy, and your immune system, your body's primary defense, inevitably weakens. In stark contrast, regular physical movement, even something as simple and accessible as walking briskly for 30 minutes daily, offers profound benefits. It dramatically improves gut motility, effectively reduces systemic inflammation, and significantly strengthens your immune surveillance, making your body much more adept at detecting and neutralizing threats. Then, there are the well-known habits of smoking and, increasingly, vaping. Many people mistakenly believe that vaping is a safer alternative to traditional cigarettes. This couldn't be further from the truth. The chemical compounds present in vaping liquids are, in some respects, even more toxic than those found in tobacco smoke, and they absolutely contribute to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. Alcohol consumption is yet another major contributing factor. Even moderate alcohol intake significantly elevates colon cancer risk through multiple complex mechanisms, including direct DNA damage and the disruption of crucial folate metabolism pathways in the body. Now, here's the crucial thread that binds all these seemingly disparate risk factors together. They all converge to suppress your immune system. Your immune system stands as one of your body's 5 critical health defense systems, and when it comes to cancer prevention, it is arguably the most profoundly important. Visualize your immune system as a highly organized and vigilant police force, constantly patrolling every inch of your body, tirelessly searching for any signs of trouble or abnormality. Within this force, you have specialized immune cells, akin to elite soldiers, known as natural killer cells and T cells. These cells are meticulously trained to identify and decisively destroy abnormal cells, including those that are cancerous. Right this very moment, as you are reading these words, it is entirely normal to have microscopic clusters of potentially cancerous cells forming within your body. This is a natural consequence of having 40 trillion cells constantly dividing. Errors in replication are bound to occur. Some of these errors inevitably create cells that are technically cancerous, but under normal circumstances, your robust immune system promptly finds them and eliminates them before they can ever become dangerous or establish themselves. It's much like having sophisticated security cameras and highly trained armed guards protecting a valuable building. Most threats are identified and neutralized swiftly and efficiently before they can inflict any real damage. However, when your immune system is compromised or weakened, a state often brought about by a consistently poor diet, insufficient physical activity, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, or chronic, unmanaged stress, those microscopic cancers can unfortunately escape this vital detection and surveillance. Once they manage to evade the vigilant gaze of your immune system, they still face another formidable barrier to growth and expansion. They desperately need blood vessels. A tumor without immediate access to a nourishing blood supply is essentially frozen in time and size. It can only grow to a tiny diameter, typically around 2 to 3 millimeters, roughly the size of the tip of a ballpoint pen, as mentioned earlier. And then its growth abruptly halts. Without a continuous supply of oxygen and vital nutrients, further expansion is simply impossible. Your body possesses an ingenious natural defense mechanism that actively attempts to prevent blood vessels from reaching these nascent tumors. This process is known as anti-angiogenesis. Angiogenesis itself simply refers to the growth of new blood vessels. Your body maintains an incredibly tight and precise regulation over this process because it requires just the right amount. Too few blood vessels, and your tissues will die from a lack of oxygen and nutrients. Too many blood vessels, and you encounter serious health problems, such as diabetic blindness, where excessive and uncontrolled vessel growth in the eye can lead to profound vision loss. Think of blood vessel growth like maintaining a lawn at the perfect height. Not too long, not too short, but absolutely just right. That delicate Goldilocks zone is what your body strives to maintain. But here's what makes cancer so incredibly insidious and dangerous. Cancer cells possess the cunning ability to hijack your body's sophisticated angiogenesis system. They achieve this by releasing powerful growth factors, essentially proteins that act like a potent fertilizer, aggressively stimulating the growth of new blood vessels directly into the tumor itself. The very moment these newly formed blood vessels connect and establish a supply line, everything changes dramatically. Scientific research has measured this phenomenon with astonishing precision. In controlled laboratory studies, when blood vessels are deliberately prevented from ever reaching a microscopic tumor, it remains dormant and harmless indefinitely. However, when blood vessels are permitted to penetrate and supply that same tumor, it undergoes an explosive transformation, growing an astonishing 16,000 times larger in approximately 2 short weeks. This is a clear demonstration of exponential runaway growth, voraciously fueled by its newfound access to oxygen and vital nutrients. Understanding these fundamental mechanisms is absolutely critical because it precisely reveals the points at which we can intervene, both medically and through our daily lifestyle choices. Yet, this understanding represents only a part of the complete picture. The most truly exciting and groundbreaking development in cancer treatment over the past decade has been the emergence of immunotherapy, and it is profoundly revolutionizing how we approach and treat colon cancer. Immunotherapy doesn't function by directly killing cancer cells, as traditional chemotherapy does. Instead, its ingenious mechanism involves activating and unleashing your body's own immune system to identify and attack the cancer cells with remarkable precision and power. Cancer cells are incredibly clever and adaptable. They develop sophisticated ways to conceal themselves from your immune system, effectively wearing an invisibility cloak. They achieve this by expressing specific proteins on their surface that essentially send a signal to your immune cells, proclaiming, "I am a normal cell, do not attack me." These deceptive proteins are known as checkpoints. Immunotherapy drugs, particularly a class called checkpoint inhibitors, work by stripping away that invisibility cloak. They precisely block these checkpoint proteins, thereby unmasking the cancer cells and exposing them so that your immune system can finally recognize and ruthlessly destroy them. The results of this approach can be nothing short of remarkable. Patients with stage 4 colon cancer, meaning the cancer has metastasized and spread to distant organs, can, in many cases, achieve complete remission. A truly incredible journey from stage 4 back to stage 0. While it's important to note that not everyone responds to these treatments, and understanding why is a major focus of current research. When immunotherapy does work, it is profoundly transformative and life-saving. One of the most widely used checkpoint inhibitors is pembrolizumab, commonly marketed under the brand name Keytruda. Other notable drugs in this class include nivolumab and ipilimumab. These powerful drugs are typically administered as intravenous infusions, usually every 3 weeks, and can be used either alone or in combination with chemotherapy, depending on the specific characteristics and genetic makeup of the individual patient's cancer. Now, here is where the story gets even more compelling and nuanced. Not all colon cancers respond equally well to immunotherapy. Your oncologist will meticulously test your tumor tissue for specific molecular markers that can predict the likelihood of a positive response. One crucial marker is known as microsatellite instability, or MSI. Tumors exhibiting high microsatellite instability, often abbreviated as MSIH, are significantly more likely to respond favorably to checkpoint inhibitors. This is because MSIH tumors typically harbor a multitude of genetic mutations, making them far more visible and recognizable to the immune system once the checkpoint blockade, the invisibility cloak, has been effectively removed. Another important marker is PD-L1 expression. PD-L1 is one of those very checkpoint proteins I mentioned earlier. If your tumor expresses high levels of PD-L1, then checkpoint inhibitors specifically designed to target this protein are more likely to be effective. If you or someone you know receives a colon cancer diagnosis, you should absolutely make it a priority to ask your doctor whether your tumor has been tested for its MSI status and PD-L1 expression. These vital tests determine eligibility for potentially life-saving immunotherapy treatments. The second mechanism, which is arguably even more pivotal for truly understanding how to powerfully support cancer treatment with targeted nutrition, involves the gut microbiome. In 2017, groundbreaking research emerged from the prestigious Gustave Roussy Cancer Center in France. This study meticulously examined 200 cancer patients who were receiving immunotherapy. Some of these patients exhibited truly remarkable responses. Their tumors dramatically shrank, or, in some extraordinary cases, completely disappeared. Other patients, however, showed no response whatsoever. The researchers were driven by a profound curiosity to understand this stark difference. They rigorously analyzed every conceivable variable: genetics, age, specific tumor type, and prior treatments. What they discovered was astonishing. The only significant and consistent difference between the responders and non-responders was the precise composition of their gut bacteria. Specifically, patients who responded favorably to immunotherapy possessed high levels of a particular beneficial bacterium called Akkermansia mucinifila. Conversely, patients whose gut microbiomes lacked Akkermansia simply did not respond to the treatment. This paradigm-shifting discovery was published in the highly respected journal Science, and it fundamentally altered our understanding of cancer treatment and the profound role of the microbiome. Here's why this finding is so immensely important in practical terms. Akkermansia mucinifila is a beneficial bacterium that naturally resides in the protective mucus layer lining your intestinal wall. It's often referred to as a guardian bacteria because it performs several critical functions. It significantly strengthens your gut barrier, reducing intestinal permeability. It actively reduces inflammation throughout the gut, and, most critically, it primes and enhances your immune system to fight cancer much more effectively. When researchers took Akkermansia from the responding patients and transplanted it into laboratory animals that were not responding to immunotherapy, those animals suddenly began to respond positively to the treatment. This elegantly demonstrated that the bacteria itself was making the pivotal difference. Now consider the practical implications of this knowledge. If you are undergoing immunotherapy for cancer, having robust and thriving populations of Akkermansia in your gut could literally be the determining factor in whether the treatment saves your life or, unfortunately, fails. Similarly, if your goal is to prevent cancer in the first place, maintaining healthy Akkermansia populations actively supports optimal immune function and vigilance. The challenge, however, is that Akkermansia is remarkably fragile and easily wiped out. A single course of antibiotics, for instance, can reduce Akkermansia levels to near zero, and it can take weeks to several months for the population to naturally rebuild itself. So, the crucial question becomes, how do you cultivate and grow Akkermansia naturally within your body? The answer lies in feeding it with specific, targeted foods. Akkermansia particularly thrives on compounds called elegotannins, which are abundantly found in pomegranates, cranberries, and walnuts. Studies have compellingly shown that consuming just 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily can increase Akkermansia levels 6-fold within a mere 3 weeks. Other foods that are known to significantly support Akkermansia growth include oats and oatmeal, dried chili peppers, like the flakes you sprinkle on pizza, and Chinese black vinegar. Just wait until you hear about the comprehensive dietary protocol I've uncovered that specifically optimizes your gut bacteria for robust cancer prevention. The third crucial pathway involves the direct starvation of tumors through anti-angiogenesis. As we've discussed, cutting off a tumor's blood supply is a powerful way to halt cancer growth in its tracks. Pharmaceutical companies have invested billions of dollars into developing sophisticated drugs specifically designed to block the growth of tumor blood vessels. Drugs like bevacizumab, widely marketed as Avastin, are now standard treatments for colorectal cancer and many other cancer types. They function by blocking a protein known as VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor, which tumors cunningly release to stimulate the formation of new blood vessels. But here's something truly astonishing. A discovery that genuinely shocked the research community. When scientists rigorously tested various common foods using the very same laboratory assays and methodologies employed to develop powerful anti-angiogenic drugs, many of these everyday foods demonstrated comparable blood vessel blocking activity. For example, green tea extract is so potent at inhibiting abnormal blood vessel growth that if researchers hadn't known its botanical origin, they would have immediately advanced it to clinical trials as a promising new drug candidate. The active compounds responsible for this incredible power are called catechins, particularly one known as EGCG. Other readily available foods with demonstrably powerful anti-angiogenic properties include tomatoes, which are rich in lycopene, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts, packed with isothiocyanates and sulforaphane, soy foods containing genistein, high-quality olive oil with its unique compound hydroxytyrosol, and omega-3 rich seafood. These are not trivial effects. Extensive population studies consistently show that individuals who regularly consume high amounts of these specific foods exhibit dramatically lower cancer rates. One compelling study, which meticulously followed 68,000 women for over a decade, found that those who drank green tea at least 3 times weekly had a remarkable 27% lower risk of colorectal cancer. Daily green tea drinkers experienced even more impressive outcomes. That represents a massive and clinically significant risk reduction stemming from a simple, enjoyable dietary habit. So now that you possess a deeper understanding of the fundamental mechanisms underpinning both cancer prevention and treatment, the pressing question shifts to what actionable steps can you genuinely take? What are the precise foods and in what exact quantities do you need to incorporate into your daily life to leverage these powerful insights? Allow me to present you with a precise, science-backed protocol derived directly from cutting-edge research and the very same recommendations I provide to my patients who are at a heightened risk for colon cancer. The foundational pillars of a cancer preventative diet. 1. Dietary fiber, non-negotiable and essential. This is not merely a recommendation, it is a fundamental, non-negotiable cornerstone of cancer prevention. Fiber performs a multitude of vital functions within your body. It acts as a critical food source for your beneficial gut bacteria, nourishing them and fostering a healthy microbiome. It powerfully reduces inflammation throughout your digestive system. It significantly speeds up transit time, meaning that potentially harmful carcinogens spend less time in direct contact with the delicate lining of your colon, and crucially, it directly supports robust immune function. A landmark study involving melanoma patients receiving immunotherapy found that for every incremental 5 to 6 grams of dietary fiber consumed daily, their mortality risk decreased by an impressive 30%. To put that into perspective, 5 to 6 grams is roughly the amount found in just one medium pear. The current recommended daily intake is at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber for women and 30 to 38 grams for men. Unfortunately, most Americans consume less than 15 grams daily. This means you likely need to double or even triple your current fiber intake. The absolute best sources of dietary fiber are beans and legumes. Varieties such as black beans, pinto beans, white beans, chickpeas, and lentils all generously provide approximately 15 grams of fiber per cooked cup. Aim to eat beans at least 4 times per week, ideally incorporating them into your diet daily. A single cup of cooked beans can fulfill half of your daily fiber requirement. If you are unaccustomed to eating beans regularly, start slowly to avoid any initial digestive discomfort. Begin with just half a cup 3 times per week and gradually increase your intake over time. Whole grains are another exceptional source of fiber. Oatmeal, brown rice, quinoa, whole wheat, and barley all contribute significant amounts of fiber. For example, 1 cup of cooked oatmeal provides about 4 grams of fiber and actively supports the growth of beneficial Akkermansia. Fruits and vegetables naturally contain fiber, but you will generally need to consume larger volumes of them to meet your daily targets. Berries, apples, and pears are all excellent choices. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale offer the dual benefit of providing both fiber and potent cancer-fighting compounds. 2. Polyphenols, the power of plant compounds. Polyphenols are a diverse group of plant compounds that are veritable powerhouses for your health. They actively feed your beneficial gut bacteria, reduce inflammation throughout the body, and exert direct anti-cancer effects. The richest sources are deeply colored fruits and vegetables. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are all bursting with anthocyanins, a type of polyphenol. Aim for 1 to 2 cups of mixed berries daily. Pomegranate, whether consumed as fresh fruit or pure juice with absolutely no added sugar, provides elegant tannins that are vital for growing Akkermansia. Incorporate 4 to 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily, or half a fresh pomegranate. Green tea is another star player. Drink 3 cups daily, Brewed properly, heat your water to approximately 175 degrees, not quite boiling, and steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Crucially, avoid adding dairy milk, as its proteins can bind to and neutralize the beneficial catechins. Adding a squeeze of lemon juice, however, can enhance the absorption of these beneficial compounds. Coffee also contributes significant benefits. Regular coffee consumption is consistently associated with a lower colorectal cancer risk. 2 to 3 cups daily provides chlorogenic acid and other advantageous compounds. Extra virgin olive oil should be consumed generously, about 2 to 4 tablespoons daily. Use it liberally on salads, drizzle it over vegetables, or simply take it by the spoonful. The polyphenols found in high-quality olive oil, such as hydroxytyrosol and oleocanthal, are powerfully anti-inflammatory and anti-angiogenic. Finally, dark chocolate with 70% cacao or higher can be enjoyed in moderation, about 30 grams or 2 small squares daily, providing flavonoids that support vascular health and possess anti-cancer properties. 3. Omega-3 fatty acids, essential anti-inflammatory fats. We once largely believed that meaningful amounts of omega-3s could only be derived from fatty fish like salmon. However, contemporary research reveals that even white fish such as cod and halibut, as well as shellfish like shrimp, mussels, and clams, contain beneficial omega-3s. These essential fats are powerfully anti-inflammatory and anti-angiogenic. Aim for at least 3 servings of seafood per week, with a serving being approximately 4 ounces when cooked. If you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, focus on incorporating ground flax seeds, 2 to 4 tablespoons daily, chia seeds, and walnuts. Additionally, consider an algae-based omega-3 supplement that directly provides EPA and DHA, the most beneficial forms of omega-3s. 4. Cruciferous vegetables, the sulforaphane superstars. Cruciferous vegetables are incredibly potent, but here's a critical detail that most people overlook. Broccoli sprouts are exponentially more powerful than mature broccoli. The young 3 to 4-day-old seedlings contain an astonishing 100 times more sulforaphane than a fully grown head of broccoli. Sulforaphane is a potent compound that activates your body's detoxification systems and exerts direct anti-cancer effects. A small handful of broccoli sprouts, roughly a quarter cup, consumed 3 to 4 times per week, can provide more benefit than eating pounds of mature broccoli. You can readily purchase sprouts at many grocery stores or easily grow them yourself in a jar in just 4 days. If sprouts are unavailable, certainly eat regular broccoli, but prioritize the stems, which boast twice the sulforaphane content compared to the florets. Lightly steam broccoli for 3 to 4 minutes to maximize the bioavailability of its compounds. Never boil it, as this destructive cooking method destroys sulforaphane. 5. Soy foods, misunderstood protectors. There persists a significant amount of misinformation suggesting that soy is dangerous due to its phytoestrogens. This notion is completely erroneous and scientifically unfounded. The phytoestrogens found in soy, primarily genistein, actually act to block human estrogen receptors and have well-documented protective effects against hormone-related cancers. Genistein is also recognized as one of the most potent anti-angiogenic compounds ever tested, demonstrating its ability to block tumor blood vessel growth by over 70% in experimental models. Population studies consistently demonstrate that high soy consumption is associated with significantly lower cancer rates. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of whole soy foods per week. Tofu, tempeh, edamame, and unsweetened soy milk are all excellent, healthful choices. However, it is important to avoid highly processed soy protein isolates, which lack the synergistic benefits of whole foods. Stick with whole food forms to reap the greatest benefits. Pro tips for maximizing these protective effects from 15 years of clinical practice. Timing matters. Your gut bacteria and immune system are most active and engaged in their restorative work at night while you sleep. To support this vital activity, consume your fiber-rich foods and polyphenols consistently throughout the day, ensuring that these crucial nutrients are readily available when these internal systems are performing their heavy lifting. Also, avoid eating large meals within 3 hours of bedtime, as active digestion can interfere with the body's natural cellular repair processes and immune surveillance. Consistency trumps intensity. A sporadic approach simply won't yield the desired results. Eating a cup of beans just once a week, for instance, provides minimal benefit. However, consistently eating half a cup of beans 6 days a week will profoundly transform your gut microbiome and activate protective pathways. The same principle applies to green tea, berries, and all these health-promoting foods. Daily consistency creates sustained activation of these protective pathways, leading to enduring health improvements. Preparation methods dramatically affect nutrient availability. The way you prepare your food is crucial for maximizing its nutritional impact. Tomatoes, for example, should be cooked because heat is essential for releasing lycopene, making it bioavailable. Raw tomatoes provide minimal lycopene. Tomato sauce, tomato paste, and roasted tomatoes are ideal forms for consumption. Always add olive oil when cooking tomatoes because lycopene is fat-soluble and the oil greatly enhances its absorption. Conversely, cruciferous vegetables should be lightly steamed or eaten raw. Overcooking them extensively will destroy the beneficial sulforaphane. With green tea, both water temperature and steeping time are critical. Water that is too hot will destroy the delicate catechins, while water that is too cool won't extract them effectively. Aim for 175 degrees and a steeping time of 3 to 5 minutes for optimal results. Variety creates synergy. Don't limit yourself to just one type of food. Instead of solely eating blueberries, rotate between blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Each contains distinct anthocyanins that work together synergistically to offer broader benefits. Similarly, don't just eat black beans. Rotate between different types of beans, lentils, and chickpeas. Different fibers nourish different beneficial bacteria, fostering a more diverse and resilient gut microbiome. The diversity of your diet directly dictates the diversity of your gut microbiome, and a rich, diverse microbiome is a strong predictor of superior health outcomes. If you are currently undergoing treatment for cancer, these specific dietary strategies can powerfully support and enhance the effectiveness of your medical care. However, it is absolutely crucial to emphasize that this approach is not intended to replace professional medical treatment. Rather, it is about optimizing your body's innate response to that treatment. Always work closely and collaboratively with your oncologist. Ensure they are fully aware of what you are eating, as some foods can, in rare instances, interact with certain chemotherapy drugs. Though, it's worth noting that the vast majority of these dietary interactions tend to be beneficial. If you are concerned about preventing cancer, especially if you have a family history of the disease, these powerful foods should form the very foundation of your daily diet. You don't need to strive for unattainable perfection in your diet overnight. What you truly need is consistent engagement with these high-impact, health-promoting foods. Make it a habit to include beans or legumes daily, berries daily, green tea or coffee daily, cruciferous vegetables at least 4 times weekly, seafood at least 3 times weekly, and extra virgin olive oil daily. This comprehensive approach will effectively cover all your essential bases. The biggest and most common mistake I observe is people believing they must overhaul their entire life and diet in a single, daunting leap. Instead, start small. Make one manageable change. Perhaps add a cup of beans to your lunch or dinner. Focus on doing that consistently for 2 weeks. Then, introduce another change, like adding a cup of berries to your breakfast for the next 2 weeks. Follow that by consistently incorporating 3 cups of green tea. Build gradually. Sustainable and lasting change happens slowly, incrementally, and consistently. Another pervasive mistake is the assumption that supplements can simply replace whole, unprocessed foods. While fiber supplements, omega-3 capsules, or polyphenol extracts certainly have their place, especially if you genuinely cannot access certain whole foods, it's important to understand their limitations. Supplements provide isolated compounds. Whole foods, on the other hand, offer hundreds of compounds that work together synergistically in complex and powerful ways. A single cup of blueberries, for instance, contains not just anthocyanins, but also vitamin C, vitamin K, manganese, a wealth of fiber, and dozens of other polyphenols that collectively enhance each other's effects. That intricate synergy simply cannot be replicated in a single capsule. The whole food, in its natural state, is always inherently more powerful and beneficial. One final, absolutely critical point. If you experience any persistent digestive symptoms, such as blood in your stool, unexplained and ongoing changes in your bowel habits, or unintentional weight loss, do not hesitate. Get screened immediately. Colon cancer is highly treatable and often curable when detected in its early stages, but it becomes deadly when diagnosed late, after it has advanced. Current screening guidelines now recommend colonoscopy beginning at age 45 for individuals at average risk. If you have any risk factors or are experiencing concerning symptoms, do not wait until you reach that age threshold. Talk to your doctor without delay. Look, colon cancer does not have to be an inevitable part of aging, nor does a stage 4 diagnosis have to be an automatic death sentence. The patients I have seen who successfully prevent cancer or who achieve miraculous remission from advanced disease are not inherently genetically superior. They are not merely lucky. What they consistently do is actively and thoughtfully support their body's inherent natural defense systems with the right, targeted nutrition. Your immune system possesses the incredible ability to recognize and destroy cancer cells, but it requires the precise support it needs to function optimally. Your body can effectively prevent blood vessels from feeding insidious tumors if you consciously choose to eat foods that activate anti-angiogenic pathways. Your gut bacteria can prime your immune system to respond powerfully to medical treatments if you nourish those bacteria properly. These intricate, powerful systems exist within you right now, this very moment. The fundamental question is whether you are actively activating them or unwittingly suppressing them with your daily choices. Here's a concise recap of the crucial insights we've explored. Colon cancer rates are dramatically increasing in young people, primarily driven by modern dietary habits and lifestyle factors, notably processed meat consumption, sedentary behavior, and compromised gut health. Your immune system is constantly working to eliminate microscopic cancers, but it absolutely requires consistent support to function at its peak efficacy. Tumors are utterly dependent on access to blood vessels for growth, and remarkable research shows that certain foods can block tumor angiogenesis just as effectively as some pharmaceutical drugs. Immunotherapy offers a revolutionary approach, capable of reversing even stage 4 cancer by activating your immune system, but its effectiveness is heavily reliant on the composition and health of your gut bacteria. Akkermansia mucinifila is a key beneficial bacterium that significantly determines your immune system's response to immunotherapy, and its growth is powerfully stimulated by consuming foods like pomegranate, cranberries, oats, and other specific nutrients. The core dietary protocol for cancer prevention and support includes a daily intake of 25 to 38 grams of fiber from beans, legumes, and whole grains, 1 to 2 cups of berries daily, 3 cups of green tea or 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily, 3 servings of seafood weekly, cruciferous vegetables, especially potent broccoli sprouts, at least 4 times weekly, 2 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily, and 2 to 3 servings of whole soy foods weekly. Consistency in these dietary habits and proper food preparation methods matter far more than striving for an unrealistic ideal of perfection. Ultimately, your cancer risk is not a predetermined fate etched in your genes. It is enormously influenced, shaped, and altered by the conscious choices you make about what you choose to eat every single day. If you found this information valuable and empowering, please consider subscribing to this channel and giving this video a like. Your support helps me reach more individuals like you who are genuinely seeking real, science-based information about preventing disease and effectively supporting their treatment journeys.